Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So over the last couple days, we have been witnessing some very big updates, and everyone is getting a little bit concerned because when we think about what these updates actually mean, everyone's looking at them and saying, all right, well, that's it. We have to pump because of these announcements, right? But see, that's the problem. While everyone is waiting for some sort of positive price action, they're trying to grasp at anything to pump their bags. When we think about these huge announcements, we're not talking about them being a huge announcement for price action. In fact, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I really don't even care to focus on price action at this current moment in time because I know that any sort of major pump during this point in time, because of the environment around traditional finance, it's not going to be a long-standing pump. And I have stated this many times over in the last month. And I'm going to continue to tell you that because even though we are seeing a very bullish environment around crypto, not just from the, legislation side of things, we're also starting to see adoption picking up. We're starting to see a lot of services being offered by some of the biggest players out there, tokenization discussions, all of these great things that are happening behind negative price action, right? Like when we think about what's going on here for price action, I keep telling you guys, and I've said this even going back to roughly the summer leading up to about November. Do you guys remember how everyone was peak bearish during the beginning of November towards like the end of October? Everyone was so bearish during that time. And I said, we're seeing all of these big announcements. It's all pressure. Building up, waiting for the perfect moment for the price action to actually show us all of these big, updates. That's the same exact thing happening now, where we are seeing all of these big moves being made, but the price action is still very stagnant. It's boring. It's negative. And we're going to talk about why. So let's first start off with the executive order, right? I did mention this earlier today, where we did see Trump sign an executive order enabling the U.S. Treasury to modernize its payment system. This is a big one because, could it pertain to blockchain and DLT? 100%. It could include, welcoming in new technology to do this. But on top of this, we saw that the XRP case was basically done. It started on March 19th, where we saw the big announcement from Brad Garlinghouse. Then Stuart Alderoty on the 21st also put out an update regarding this. On top of that, we saw the official announcement of the case being settled on the 25th. Now, everyone was expecting the price action to go absolutely crazy and XRP jumping to $10, $15. Now, I just want to make sure that you guys know that I have stated time and time again that although this is a big catalyst, it's not a guarantee that the price action is going to be bullish. But one thing that I will say is when it comes to this case now being, officially over, this is still a big piece of the puzzle. This is going to lead to a lot more updates and a lot bigger moves than just price action for XRP and for Ripple. Now, do I think that this will eventually lead to positive price action? 100%. But the issue here is that this is happening at a time where the market is pretty bearish. And we're going to talk about why in a second, but this is what XRP's price action looks like. So we did see a nice little pump, nothing too crazy. This is like the last month. This is the announcement of the lawsuit basically being done. We jumped to about like $2.55. Then we sold off and we're just kind of ranging here. And now we're back down to $2.37. But the entire market right now is pretty bearish, right? It's not just XRP. Like, if we want to sit around talking about how XRP sucks right now, guess what? Join the choir. Look at Bitcoin. This is the last 1 year price action on XRP versus Bitcoin. This is the last 1 year price action on XRP and Ethereum. Also, if we look at BNB, this is BNB. Also, Solana. Do you guys notice something here? XRP holders should not be complaining at all. We are outperforming majority of the market. We could look at anything. Dogecoin, for an example. We could look at ADA. Guys, XRP is absolutely killing it right now. So I question, why are we being so bearish on XRP right now? Is it because you were promised the world when the XRP case was done? I don't know who promised you that XRP was going to go to $10 overnight once the case was done, but I didn't. I always said that it could be a catalyst, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I still believe that price action will be very positive now that this case is finished. We just got to get through the negative price action right now in the market, which is not directly tied back to crypto. The entire crypto market right now definitely does suck. The CMC 100 index, which is a measurement of the top 100 cryptocurrencies, this is down significantly since going back to like the beginning of December. And even if we go back to the altcoin season index chart, we could clearly see that we are in a Bitcoin market. This is what the gains looks like for the top 100 coins. I mean, guys, this market right now is not that bullish, which is why any bullish price action announcement that you would be looking at, like for an example, if you thought that this was going to be a price action announcement, aka the case being settled, well, I have news for you. It got announced at the worst time in the market. But when we think about this, why is everything selling off? Why are things looking bearish? Well, they weren't looking bearish up until roughly like the 25th, right? Like 24th, 25th. And this is because of tariff discussions. We got more announcements around tariffs. And as I've stated time and time again this entire month, you can go back and watch many of my videos. I have stated that until we start to get a big pivot on tariffs, or we start to, move away from the tariff discussions, markets are going to continue to bleed. It doesn't matter if you think tariffs are bullish or bearish. It does not matter at all. The market does not like them. The reason why is because we start to see short-term pain. We start to see decreased productivity. We start to see, decreased sales, supply chain holdups. It's not bullish immediately, which is why it scares markets. And over the last month, and technically it's not even the last month, I'm just going to be honest with you guys, it's been going all the way back to about January where we started to see the full-on announcement of tariffs. Okay, since January, this market is down from almost 106K or so. I think it's actually 110K total. Yeah, 109K. The market is down from 109K all the way down to about 80. The low on this one was actually 76.6K. So the market is down significantly, and it is because of the tariff discussions and the announcements, because this is basically a trade war, breaking out. And even over here, right? This was back in the beginning of March, where 1.7 trillion was wiped out of the US stock market. And it's funny because on the 24th, 1.35 trillion was added to the US stock market, which is why the market was actually looking pretty good back in like roughly it was like the 23rd, 24th, right? Like this is that big move from roughly like 83.8K to almost like $90,000. And everyone was getting peak bullish then, right? The market's heating up. Oh, we're done. Everything's going to be crazy going forward. But then guess what? We started to hear more tariff discussions. And it started on the 23rd where, President Donald Trump to narrow April 2nd tariffs. Now, this wasn't actually that bad of an announcement because it was more so about adjusting the approach to tariffs, which a lot of people thought that this was going to be a pivot, which is also why the market did pump up for the next day, which was the 24th. The market was looking pretty good. But then we started to hear more talks about what the plan of action was, and it sounded like even, heavier tariff discussions. And even over here, we have on the 26th, which was today, Tesla shares drop on plunging European sales, concerns about Trump's tariffs. Again, the market is concerned. A lot of, consumers are now also concerned because, what happens with tariffs? All of a sudden, you start to see increased prices on goods and services. It doesn't happen, like all of the positive moves happening around tariffs don't happen immediately. Everyone thinks that this is going to be like an overnight, economy boom. No, the economy gets hit initially before we start to see prosperity from tariffs. So the market is pretty volatile right now. And we have started to see that clearly on red days and green days. Even here, they're saying that the stock has been volatile all year, gaining or losing at least 5% on 14 separate days. And that's just Tesla. The entire stock market has been extremely volatile, which is also why crypto itself has been extremely volatile. Even if you go back to the crypto market cap and you just look at the last year, we could see the negative price action here. But if you actually look closely for the last 30 days, we're starting to see some pretty big spikes to the upside, and then we start to see that big sell-off. Then we start to bounce back, and more tariff discussions hit the market, where we do start to sell off yet again. So if we're thinking about why, right, why is XRP not pumping right now, even though we have all of this bullish news, it's because the environment around traditional finance is not that bullish because of the trade war. Even over here, we have from the Kobayashi letter, the trade war is back. Markets are expecting Trump's April 2nd reciprocal tariffs day to be the end of uncertainty. But we believe it will be the exact opposite, which is why tech stocks are down over negative $400 billion this week. Here's what's coming next. For the last week or so, markets have been pricing out tariff uncertainty. As outlined below, the lack of new tariff headlines led into the Wall Street Journal report on potential tariff leeway on March 24th. Then everything changed today. The market received another reality check. And again, this is exactly why markets were looking good on the 24th, leading up to about roughly the, end of the 25th. This is the NASDAQ. So we have here markets bottom as tariff headlines stall. Wall Street Journal reports potential leeway in tariffs. Stocks price out tariff uncertainty, and then auto tariff headlines emerge. The second that we hear tariffs, boom, the markets bleed. We don't hear tariff discussions. We don't even talk about them. They start to stall a little bit. Market pumps. Until we start to see these tariff discussions pivot or stall in general, markets are not going to look good. And that does include XRP. I hate to break it to you guys. It does not matter if tomorrow we heard an announcement around the Federal Reserve using XRP for, settlement. It does not matter. The market environment right now around crypto, as it is tied back to the stock market, is bearish. And that's just facts. And I've said, and I've stated many times over, until this changes, the market is not going to be that bullish. We have here, this all changed when Bloomberg posted the article below this morning. Bloomberg reported that President Trump is preparing to roll out auto tariffs as soon as Wednesday today. Previously, Trump has granted a 1-month delay on tariffs to automakers in the United States. And we can actually see that announcement here. As seen below, price action in the S&P 500 was already beginning to stall around 5,800. Markets have the notion that April 2nd will be the end of tariff uncertainty. However, we signaled in our premium analysis that the exact opposite is the case. Uncertainty is rising. At 9:34 a.m. ET today, we posted the below alert for our premium members. Obviously, they're just kind of shilling their premium, website. But we have Barclays believes that April 2nd reciprocal tariffs imposed by President Trump will impact as many as 25 countries. U.S. sectors likely affected include autos, pharma, and also semiconductors. We also expect countries to respond to these reciprocal tariffs, ramping up the trade war. Again, they're telling us that this trade war is just going to continue to ignite. NVIDIA has been even more telling, as the stock is now down 7% in the last 2 days. In fact, NVIDIA is no longer the second most valuable public company in the world. With over $17 billion of revenue in China, markets are bracing for a prolonged trade war in the semiconductor space. Furthermore, even as U.S. stocks have rebounded off of their lows, foreign investors are pulling out. They actually withdrew $6 billion from U.S. equity funds last week. This is the third largest amount on record and in line with levels seen during March of 2020. Additionally, we are not seeing institutional buying return to markets. Hedge funds sold global stocks at their fastest pace in 4 years on March 7th and the 10th. While retail is buying the dip at record levels, Wall Street is not buying the rally yet. The divergence is real. Now combine this with the fact that President Trump has accepted near-term pain for long-term gain. Multiple cabinet members have also voiced the same viewpoints. And with inflation running hot, Fed Chair Powell is likely to also buy into this plan if he hasn't already. So to sum everything up, we now have incorrect investor risk perception, uncertainty on tariffs to rise, foreign and institutional capital backing out of U.S. stocks, large cap tech no longer leading higher, Trump willing to weather near-term weakness, not the best recipe. Now, listen, when we think about what's going on here, the short-term pain is definitely going to be significant, but I do expect this to cool off, right? Eventually, this is all going to cool off. Sell pressure will start to stall. and then we'll start to see gains. But until then, we just have to weather the storm. I know that it sucks. I get it. I understand it. It's just something that we have to deal with. This is why when we go back in time, when we look at things, that's why when crypto starts to really kind of, disconnect from following stocks, that's the best part of crypto. But right now, we are so severely tied to stocks that everything that happens around TradFi and the environment, bleeds out. Crypto will bleed out as long as stocks continue to bleed, which it feels as if right now it's still going to be a pretty bloody week going forward. Any buy opportunities that we have in this space right now, I would just wait, because I always say this even in the Discord as well. Just wait until a floor is formed. Wait until you start to see a trend being formed as well, because I'd rather buy higher knowing that we're going to continue on that trend than buy a falling knife knowing that, we not knowing what's going to happen next, because the floor could just completely fall out and all of a sudden your new investment that you just threw into the market, all your capital is gone. That could be, it could lose up to like 50% of its value. So that's why I've always said, wait for things to kind of cool off. Right now, it seems as though the tariff discussions are going to continue to heat up until around April 2nd. Let's see what happens on April 2nd. But with that being said, that's exactly why XRP is not pumping, even though the entire environment around crypto is still pretty bullish. I mean, the entire crypto market and what's been happening around crypto is very bullish. Outside of crypto, though, TradFi, it's still pretty bearish because of the tariff discussions. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.